in the United States. Wait for someone to break the seal here tonight.
Martell Mallett, he could be the guy. First time he's been on the field.
And Mitchell throws it to the wide side. It's picked off. Intercepted by Ronnie Yell. It'll be a touchdown, BC. A 32-yard score for the BC Lions.
Well, it almost looked like Martell Mallett stepped in the throwing lane of Bo Levi Mitchell. And, well, take a look at it here. Watch Martell. He kind of sneaks up past Bo Levi there, and it looks like he kind of gets in his throwing motion. But I tell you, Ronnie Yell had a bead on that one, jumped it, saw it the whole way, undercut it, and walked into the end zone for a pick six.
First interception thrown by Bo Levi Mitchell this year. In fact, his first in his last 142 attempts.
Yeah.
Calgary hasn't had a pass picked off since last October, but there's one for a score, and the BC Lions have the early lead. And now McCallum adds to it. So just like that, the seal is broken. As Ronnie Yell, the first-year man from San Jose State, read a page out of the playbook and took it the other way.
Not making excuses for Bo Levi, but Martell Mallett, first play from scrimmage, he kind of impedes his quarterback, who's eyeballing this right here. And watch Ronnie Yell, field side corner, looking at the quarterback. There's Martell stepping in front of Bo. Ronnie jumps it, undercuts it, and walk into the end zone. Well played. There's a closer look at it here. Watch Martell go, just kind of ease in front of him. Bo wants to cut it loose here, but all of a sudden he's got a running back in front of him, and he's got heat in his kitchen. He shouldn't be there. I'm not saying that impeded his throw, but being in that pocket 14 years, I can tell you, that'll throw you off in a heartbeat. But he did stare that down, and Ronnie Yell had a good jump on that football, got his first of his career.
Jason Matichuk of the BC Lions was assessed a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty on the point after, so the Lions will kick off from their own 20. And Sanders fields the kickoff at the 30-yard line. Dives ahead out to the 47-yard line, a 19-yard return as the tackle was made on special teams by Stephen Dogie of the BC Lions. And Calgary will go back to work now, down by 7.
And this will be interesting to watch Bo Levi respond to this, because he hasn't turned the football over. And the offense hasn't really been on fire the last couple of weeks. They did well the first 2 weeks. Last couple of weeks, not so much. And I'm curious to see if they can get it together after this adversity that they felt the last couple of weeks, and certainly here early in this football game.
Now here's Mallett with the first down carry, and Mallett gets cartwheeled through the air. As Sal Elamimi got in, there was a flag on the play. So the Mallett story is one of bursting into the Canadian Football League 5 years ago. The rookie of the year in the CFL.
Offside. BC number 96, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And then a series of horrendous injuries, including a torn Achilles when he came back to Hamilton after spending a couple of years in the NFL. In training camp in 2012, tore his Achilles. The Ticats released him last season, and he was out of football last year. Came to Calgary, has been here since the start of training camp.
Just an unbelievable journey, and one that's inspiring. Glad to see him back on the field.
And here he is on the first down carry, and Mallett crosses midfield, gets down to the 51-yard line. That's good for a Calgary first down.
And I see Josh Johnson back out there for the Lions, and it's good to see that he's not injured or nicked, but starting a strong side linebacker who's injured in the first special teams play of the ball game. But Martell Mallett, what a story. I'm telling you, that is phenomenal, overcoming the odds that young man has had to.
It's been 5 years, Matt, since he played in a meaningful football game.
It's a whole lot of want to and desire.
And now takes the carry around the left side. And Mallett dives down to the 47-yard line for a gain of 4. He left the Lions after that rookie season. He was allowed to go pursue NFL opportunities, although there is some dispute about exactly how that went down. The Lions and Wally Buono say he chose to leave.
Yeah, right.
Mallett said the Lions bent the rules a little bit and let him go.
I'm all for letting guys go chase their dreams. That was a little fishy back then.
fake to Mallet, and Mitchell throws it. There's the catch for West. His first of the year is down to the 36-yard line. Joe West did everything the last couple of weeks except buy a billboard of a highway asking for a pass to be thrown his way.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks, he's been in a lineup and hadn't seen the football. Here he is, just going to run it here a little bit. They're going to play fake over here. Bo's going to turn around. Watch this. Play fake, turn around, give it to him. Got blockers out front. Find you a seam, pick up the first down. Good way to get him involved. You know, when you play the wide side receiver, the Z position, the furthest away from the quarterback, it's awfully tough sometimes for a young guy to find the football his way.
Now on first down, the fake again to Martell. They swing it across. Here's West again. Well, a stutter step by West, and he jumps out of bounds inside the 20 to the 18-yard line, a pickup of 18 yards.
Yeah, this is Dave Dickinson saying, you know what, we're going to get him involved. We're not going to wait for our young quarterback to find him at that Z position furthest away from the quarterback. We're going to design plays to get the ball in his hands, because when the ball is in his hands, this guy is explosive and can make things happen, as we've seen in the last couple of plays. Dave Dickinson knowing how to get it done, using his personnel.
Former Calgary Stampeder quarterback, also played for the BC Lions. And now the play fake again to Martell. Mitchell's got all day, throws it underneath, and the pass to McDaniel gets down to the goal line. Touchdown! Marquay McDaniel, an 18-yard score, and the Stampeders answer the Lions touchdown with one of their own. This will be reviewed automatically by the CFL Command Center to see if McDaniel got the ball to the pylon before he went out of bounds. He's in there. He's in there. That is a touchdown.
That is athleticism. That is what a professional is all about. That's what Marquay McDaniel brings to the table. Tightrope on the sidelines. Stick it in there. Yes, sir.
And the touchdown will stand. There it is with the point after up and through. So the Calgary Stampeders get good field position after the Matichuk penalty. Puts them back 15 yards in the kickoff, then drive the ball 64 yards in 6 plays.
I asked the question, was curious on how they're going to respond to adversity. You throw a pick six, Bo Levi marches his football team down the field, gets Joe West involved in a couple of plays, and then finds that veteran receiver that everybody's loved throwing to 16. That guy gets it done. Here it is again. Little slow play fake here, slow developing. Actually good as they kept Kareem Smith from getting upfield. Dumps it out, and then the tightrope down the sideline, stick it inside the cone. Marquay McDaniel finding the end zone.
Got a great block from Anthony Parker up the field as well. And so Bo Levi Mitchell now has 8 touchdown passes on the year against the 1 interception that was taken back the other way.
That's a response right there. And getting everybody involved. Martell, Joe West, who's been non-existent the last 3 weeks, doing everything right, but just not seeing the football. You saw the design offensively of Dave Dickinson to get Joe West the football because he can make things happen, and then you saw the experience and athleticism of Marquay McDaniel. Man, that's fun to watch.
And now Paredes with the kickoff. And fielded deep by Iannuzzi from the 5-yard line, and Iannuzzi picks his way across the 20, waits for a block, and goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line. McDougal once again there on the tackle. Let's join Jermaine Franklin.
Gord, Kevin Glenn admitted that it was a little weird coming back to McMahon Stadium as a visitor, but not too unfamiliar, as he's been in that visiting locker room several times in his 14-year career. Now, the Stamps have benefited tremendously from his 2-year stint with Calgary, especially Bo Levi Mitchell and Nick Lewis. Both of them said that they learned a lot about preparation from Glenn, especially bouncing back from tough situations, coming through and adjusting to tough situations. They're putting those lessons learned into practice this season.
First down carry to Andrew Harris, and not much doing there as the tackle was made by Sean Lemon for no gain. And talking to John Hufnagel yesterday, he paid very high praise to Kevin Glenn, saying that of all the players he's coached in his career, Kevin Glenn is one of the ones he admires the most for his approach to the game, his perseverance through a lot of ups and downs through his career. John Hufnagel is a huge Kevin Glenn fan.
maybe he can relate to that because Huff had similar circumstances throughout his career where he had to persevere in a backup situation quite often.
Now on 2nd and long, Glenn is under pressure. Gets away from the initial pressure and throws to the sideline. The pass is caught by Courtney Taylor. He'll be well short of a first down.
Yeah, Kevin really took his game, Gord, to another level over the last couple seasons in a Calgary Stampeder uniform right here, McMahon. And those expectations travel with you. And BC just doesn't feel like they've got it consistently from their veteran quarterback. But tonight, he seems to be settled in quite nicely.
Booming punt by Ricky Schmidt. Chases Sanders back to the 33-yard line. And Sanders up to the 43. Matichuk there to help make the stop, along with S.J. Hedera.
Yeah, this is a response that we saw from the Stampeders after pick 6. Mallett on the outside, picking up a first down. Little hit screen outside of Joe West, getting him involved. Little misdirection, bringing Joe across the field and underneath, flipping it out to him, making them people miss. Doing the same thing. Get the ball distributed to your playmakers' hands, letting them do their thing. That's offensive coordination by Dave Dickinson, their OC, and that's execution by the quarterback distributing the football.
Now on first down, here's Mallett again. Runs into a wall of BC Lions led by Josh Johnson. And Kareem Smith there as well. No gain on the play. Actually marked as a gain of a couple.
Yeah, Gordon, and this is the interior of the BC Lions, and this is what they do. Watch this man right here. We're talking about Khalif Mitchell just plugging a hole. Watch him. He takes on 2, pushes him back into the hole. Running back's got to redirect. No gain.
It appears to be way offside. Now the pass down to Sinopoli. Incomplete as Ryan Phillips was there on the coverage. And it'll be 3rd down, Calgary.
Stampeders looking for a flag, defensive pass interference. And that was pretty close. The whole sidelines erupted as it looked like there might have been a little contact, but no flag on the play.
Calgary could review that if it wished.
Coming right at you. That's a good no call right there. Whew. That's just good solid defensive play.
And now Maver with a low driving kick to Logan from the 22-yard line. Stephon Logan being bottled up by Lynn J. Shell. And then buried by the Stampeder special teams unit. Glenn Love down there to finish him off. And so the Lions push back to their 19-yard line. 7-7 is the score after the opening quarter. Wendy, that football is back to Calgary after this.
A huge part.
15 minutes show that the BC Lions have just 45 yards in total yards in the game, and the only touchdown they scored was the interception for a touchdown. And Matt, last week the BC Lions were held without a touchdown at home for the first time since 2005, and they have to be better offensively. They knew that coming in. What do they need to do?
Well, they're trying to figure it out and crack the code like everybody else in the Canadian Football League facing this defense, and it's tough sledding as we've seen here in the first quarter. Kevin Glenn does seem at ease within himself, but I can tell you it's going to be a long night if they don't get it together and start spreading the football around, because Bo Levi Mitchell responded after that pick 6 and marched his team down the football field like he was going through Skelly.
There's the pass from Glenn, complete to Courtney Taylor for gain of 6. And so the Calgary Stampeder defense has allowed 52 points total in the first 4 games of the year. It's the best 4-game stretch by the Calgary defense since 1971.
Ouch.
When Wayne Harris was the CFL's outstanding defensive player and Grey Cup MVP.
Yeah, crack that code. Good luck with that. That's exactly what the RHL's offensive coordinator and Kevin Glenn are trying to do.
And the completion goes ahead to Sean Gore. Or check that, Taylor again, and Taylor out to the 30-yard line, which is close to another BC first down. He'll be, the way they spot it, about a foot short.
Yeah, and Gord, the thing is with Calgary defense, they're so good up front against the run and the pass. You talk about these guys right here. These are newcomers. This is Howard Stewart, and this is yeah, that's Hardrick, the first-year player from Nebraska. Those guys right there are going to be a key for the offense of BC to get going and on their horse.
Actually, mark it as a first down. The first down carry goes to Stephon Logan, knocked down hard by Juwan Simpson for a gain of 7.
Yeah, those guys are young up front. In fact, that whole left side of the BC Lions offensive line has been overhauled since week 2. And even the backup, Kirby and Fabian, comes over from the right side to the left side. And, boy, they're looking for some production there and some consistency from that left side. And if you've ever played with an offensive line that's going through a lot of changes up front, that could slow you down in a hurry. And Kevin Glenn's trying to get them back on track.
To the ground, Harris gets stood up immediately as Micah Johnson comes up to make the stop. He needed the 40-yard line for a first down.
And when you're having to line up Sean Gores at tight end in a situation like this, it is not good. It is not good for anybody. Here's Gore. This guy goes about 185, 190. And he's got Charleston Hughes over the top of him. You're expected to block him. He's just doing it like an Olay out there. That's not going to happen. That's not a good sign offensively for the BC Lions when he's trying to block all-pro defensive ends.
So a yard and a bit short. The Lions will punt. Oh, snap to Ricky Schmidt. Gets a tumbling kick away. Fielded by Marquay McDaniel at the 20-yard line. And pushed out of bounds at about the 27 of the play. As the stop is made by BC's Jamal Johnson. Back to Calgary in a 7-7 game in a moment. As Saskatchewan taking on Ottawa, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Pacific. Gary Durant, the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 2-2, well back in the Wild West as Calgary jumps up to the 4-0 start. Right now, the West is 12-2 against the East. Oh, Levi Mitchell throws it up there. Jeff Fuller makes the catch. Tries to dance in front of Dante Marsh. They'll mark him down at the 35-yard line. So last week, Nick Lewis did not have a catch for the Calgary Stampeders for the first time in his career. And this week, he is a healthy scratch or a not completely healthy player. So Lewis, who was badly injured last year against the BC Lions, still struggling with an injury. Also because Walter was hurt, a Canadian running back, and Martel Mallett comes in, the import running back. Calgary had to drop an American player from the lineup. It winds up being Nick Lewis. And there's Mallett with the carry and a gain of a couple.
That's tough to take. You're a veteran receiver like Nick Lewis, but he says he's grown up, matured, certainly understands the numbers game. He's dead set on getting back and contributing and putting up another 1,000-yard year, which I have a hard time believing based on what I've seen in the first 4 weeks of the 5 weeks of the season. But this guy has defied the odds before and certainly continues to do that. But a veteran presence, no doubt, for this Calgary Stampeders receiving corps and football team, because he's one of the team leaders that continues to lead even though he's on the sidelines.
Martel Mallett came up a yard short of the Calgary first down, and the Stampeders will punt as Stephon Logan awaits the kick from Maver. And Logan from the 30 just dives straight ahead. And that's where the Lions will start after a 44-yard punt. Former Calgary Stampeder Kevin Glenn goes back to work in his 14th CFL season, trying to get the Lions back in the race.